welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be continuing What If Naruto Had Cremation. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the video. We open this part with Naruto waking up inside of a partly destroyed hospital and him frantically looking around because him not noticing how he got there, and the last time he was on a hospital bed, Orochimaru was sticking needles in him. It wasn't the most comfortable thing. No one said that Naruto wasn't scared when he was a child. He didn't care, but no one said he wasn't scared. So Naruto, he gets up and Hinata walks into the room and was like, "Calm down, like you just, it's been a couple of weeks. You need to calm down. You've been out for weeks, and no one knows why." And Naruto, the last thing Naruto remembers is shooting the beam through Pain's head. And Conan walks into the room and tells him that after he shot the beam through Pain's head and ultimately defeated Pain, everyone in the village apparently got resurrected like 10 minutes after. And then when everyone finally realized that you weren't around, everyone started looking for you. But since you have almost little to no chakra, we've started to sense your chakra a little, but like you have a small amount of chakra now. And Naruto was like, "That's interesting, but that's not the point. How are you alive?" And she was like, "I don't know. I remember Pain stabbing me through the heart with that thing, but well, with that stick, I just don't remember anything past that." And Naruto was like, "I guess that kind of makes a little sense. I mean, why would she remember anything past that point? She was dead." And Naruto was like, "I'm just glad that you're alive." And she was like, "Yeah." And she looks down and Naruto looks at his foot, noticing that it's still broken but it's healing. And was like, "So I guess we're gonna be in here for a few more weeks." And Tsunade walks in the room and was like, "Try months. You have several medical problems after that stunt that you pulled, Mr. Blue Nine Tails." And Naruto's like, "So is that what they're calling that? Is that what they're calling me now?" And Dry walks in the room and was like, "Yeah, it's actually pretty catchy. It's a whole festival and everything set up specifically for you. They call it the Blue Fox. You're the Blue Fox now." And Naruto was like, "That's pretty funny, but I'm not laughing. So it's not funny enough." And um Kakashi was like, "Giving the fact that you saved the village, I guess we can pardon you. We can take the bounty that we put on your head off." And Naruto was like, "Wait a minute, you put a bounty on my head?" And he was like, "Yeah, we wanted a bounty for someone to turn you in alive." And Naruto was like, "How much is the bounty?" And he basically tells him a large but small fortune. A large fortune compared to someone poor, and a small fortune compared to someone rich. Basically, a middle ground to where you can live the rest of your life without worrying about anything. But if you overspend, you're gonna have to get a job. So Naruto smiled and was like, "Well, technically, I turned myself in and saved the village, so um, I should be able to get some form of reward." And Kakashi, realizing that he did willingly walk into the village and he did just save the village. So a lot of people are thinking like maybe they should find some way to repay him and not just naming a day after him or something like that. Because that's like the last thing that Naruto wants. And Naruto tells Kakashi this. And Kakashi calls off the giant celebration that they had planned for Naruto Day or Blue Fox Day. So, um, Naruto, the same night, like, cause he's still sitting in the hospital because he can't move. They spent that entire day talking about what happened and how Naruto felt in that form. And when as he's talking about it, he slips away into sleep. Naruto has been doing this often. Naruto thinks this is his first time waking up. Naruto has woken up several times over the past 2 weeks. He just can't remember any of the times that he's been up. So, because like right around 12 every night, he'll pass out without warning. So he passes out and he finds himself sitting in the room with the Nine Tails talking about um the power. And the Nine Tails is like, the only way I'm gonna start giving you any form of my power is if you somehow am able to beat me in a fight. And Naruto was like, so I have to get a lot stronger than what I am now. Is that basically what you're telling me? And the Nine Tails was like, yeah, a lot stronger. What I gave you yesterday was just a what I gave you a few days ago was just a fragment of my power. And Naruto smiles. Like he grins knowing that he hasn't reached his level cap yet. His power cap yet. So he's getting excited. So we flash back over to Itachi's perspective. I mean to Toby's perspective, and behind like when he sees Itachi's other eye open and he notices that it's a Rinnegan, he gets a little upset and hopefully he's hoping to himself that he doesn't know how to use it. And sadly enough, he was wrong. So Itachi, a fully healed Itachi sitting in front of Obito. And keep in mind, um, Itachi does not have his eternal. The only way he can get his eternal is if he takes one of Sasuke's eyes. So yes, he still technically is dying. He just can heal himself now. So he has a form of treatment. So Obito realizing that the situation that he is in is not good at all. He he gets a little on the offensive side, asking him why did he go beyond what his beyond like why did he do this? Basically being asked like why did you betray the Akatsuki? And Itachi basically no yeah, Itachi basically tells him that if you were as vigilant as you say you are, you would know that I was never in the Akatsuki for my own self. Like this isn't something that I personally wanted. And Obito was like, yes, of course, this isn't what you wanted, but it's what you have. And um, Itachi was like, for someone that's clearly outmatched as of right now, you sure are talking a lot. And Conan, walks out from behind the chair and it was like, yeah, we really don't want people like you to the new leader of the Akatsuki. Well, to the new leader of the underground. And um Obito was like, what do you mean by that? And Itachi basically goes over this long thought out plan of Itachi being at the head of every crime in the Shinobi world. Like he would basically rule the entire Shinobi world from the shadows through crime. Or he can do some good regardless of the matter. He's still going to be the ruler of something. So Obito was like, so you're really willing to just disregard the Akatsuki, disregard Kisame? And Itachi was like, who said I was disregarding Kisame? And Kisame comes like out the other room, out the room across comes walking from down the hallway that's attached to another room and was like, someone called me. And Obito realizing that this is really not a good really not a good spot for him, he just kama wees out, and Itachi says like, don't worry, Obito, you can run, but you can't hide from me anymore. I'll always know where you are now. Now that you've let me know that you're scared, that's all that matters. This is gonna be fun. And we cut back to Naruto's perspective, and Naruto wakes up the next day actually remembering that like he's been passing out. So come the next night, he doesn't pass out. He's staying up talking to them. So they finally think that it's time for him to get released out of the hospital. So they leave the hospital, and Naruto looks outside, and the village is starting to get put back together. You know, there's still a giant divot in the village, but it's being worked out. So yeah. So Naruto was like, if you guys can put enough rocks in there, I could probably melt it all down and make like a flat surface at the top. So y'all could build off that. And they were like, no, we already have something planned for that. And plus, we definitely don't want you using your abilities since you just got out of the hospital. And Naruto was like, well, that's a shame because I actually need to train with the little bit of chakra that y'all said I have, because now I have to fight the Nine Tails. And everyone like stops and was like, what do you like? Everyone that was around him stops and was like, what do you mean you have to fight the Nine Tails? And Naruto basically tells them that if I can get the power that the Nine Tails holds, and his own power, he would basically be unstoppable. And plus, he thinks that there's something else out there that he needs to worry about. So they all agree, and now we're gonna flash over to Orochimaru's perspective on things. So Orochimaru and Sasuke are training like any normal day. On like just out of nowhere, a crow, Orochimaru sees a crow just staring at him, and he gets a little uneasy, and he tells Sasuke that they should start heading out. And out from behind them, a voice cries out, "No, you should stay exactly where you are." And Sasuke, knowing that voice, he says his like he calls his brother's name. He was like, Itachi, and he turns around and he sees Itachi with a Rinnegan in his eye, and was like, and Itachi says, "In the flesh." And Orochimaru was like, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm doing what I should have done. I'm taking my brother with me this time." And Orochimaru was like, "So you're not here for me?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." And he uses Amaterasu on Orochimaru, which Orochimaru starts trying to pat off of him. Like basically, Orochimaru is just burning alive, and he uses the snake shits to get away. And you, Itachi, looking at Orochimaru slither away in his small snake form, was like, I'll just deal with him later." And when he walks up to Sasuke, when he looks at Sasuke, Sasuke runs up to him and like runs up to him with a sword out, and like with this very angry expression on his face, like basically charging at him like he was gonna fight him. But before he can get close to Itachi, Itachi put him underneath a really strong genjutsu that instantly put him out. And when Sasuke woke up, he was on a table, tied down. And Itachi, when he wakes up, he sees Itachi over him, and he's like, "Sorry, bro, But in order for my plan of peace to work, I need your eye. And he takes out one of Sasuke's eyes and he gives, like, basically giving Sasuke his eternal and him taking his eternal. And both of them are gonna have Rinnegan if you don't know what I'm getting at here. Because Sasuke technically wouldn't be canon Sasuke if he didn't have a Rinnegan. So Sasuke wakes up in a cage with a seal over his eyes so he can't open them. And Itachi walks into the room, and Sasuke was like, "Why don't you let this seal off my eyes so I can show you what my power, how much power I truly have?" And Itachi, not trying to feel his head up, trying to tell him like straight up what's going on, he immediately shoots Sasuke down. It was like, even with your full strength, your full power, and your new eyes, you are nothing compared to me. You never have, and you never will be. Basically shooting down Itachi, like not Itachi, basically shooting down Sasuke's like whole hope of ever defeating him. And he's like, and now that that's out the way, um, I have some things I wish to discuss with you. I would hope, with you being my brother, you would tag along, and both of our plans of peace could come to fruition. And Sasuke, after a couple of days of, the story and, basically the same thing happening over and over again, he agrees to help Itachi after hearing the truth. And Naruto, um, tells Conan that she should try to get stronger. Well, tells Conan and Sakura that they should study from each other and try to learn from each other to see if they can learn anything, from each other. And Conan was like, "Yeah, I get it. You basically just don't want us over here." And Hinato's like, "Oh well, yeah, someone with as small as amount of chakra as him would definitely not want anyone to be around when he's trying to put it to good use." And Naruto turns around with the most angriest of faces and was like, "Did you guys forget that I'm still stronger than you without chakra?" And he was like, "Talk about me again, and I'll turn this whole village to cinders." My leg may be broke, but I'll still incinerate this place, um, and keep it moving. Try me. So, um, they were like, "Dang, bro, I can't take a joke," and they all jump away. Like they all go back to the Hokage's office, and Naruto's just standing there, and he gets a visit from a man in a mask. And this man in a mask tells Naruto that um there's an even bigger threat out there now, thanks to his lack of control over things. Um, well, yeah, thanks to Toby's himself lack of control over things. So for the time being, without telling anyone, he's going to try to get him to get a decent amount of chakra to fight the Nine Tails to get that power up. So for that entire day, Naruto and Toby trained Naruto's chakra. And this is where I'm gonna end this part off. If y'all enjoyed the video, drop a like. If y'all enjoy my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi. Peace.